What's good, YouTube? I know it's been a bit since I've done a video, but today we got one going on. I'm gonna be changing the bearing on my Pdrive and adding a spring from EVP. I currently run their Helix, which I will be adjusting as well. I've been playing with it. This last time in Glamis, I was with this position in 4 and zeroed out. Usually they recommend 5 and zeroed out, so I'll be going back to 5 and then testing it out in Glamis. Hopefully we can get that all done over there. I will have to separate the primary to install the bearing, and I'm gonna try and do it without popping off the Pdrive. I'll try and do it here in position, and we'll see how that works. I will be removing the secondary. I probably won't be doing too much video on the secondary. It's mainly the primary. But yeah, got a oil change kit. I have now switched to AMSOIL. I'm no longer gonna do the BRP just because of the oil filters. I've been having some trouble with them, and too many times it's happened. So moving on to AMSOIL. But yeah, stay tuned. So I'm gonna start by removing my sway bars or disconnecting them just to get a little bit more clearance. There's someone on that's always giving me stuff about running the stock ones because I haven't upgraded them. I'll eventually get to it and upgrade them. Just hasn't been in the budget, or they haven't broke. Just haven't. So let's get this primary bolt off. Size 22 on mine. So if you recall, or you know, you've been following me, this is a 2021. So it didn't come with this clutch, primary clutch. I upgraded to the Pdrive, and that was because my old clutch got totaled in Glamis. Some people have asked if I've gotten any codes, which I haven't, but also the reason for that is because I run the Stage 3 tune from Evil, and that tune has an update for this clutch. So I haven't had any problems with that route. I don't know, some people that don't run tunes have had some problems. I think the car goes into limp mode. Okay. Sí. So all of those have to come off. Alright. So now we'll get this bolt in there. This is just a spare bolt. This is just to pop it off with the tool I'll be using. get our KWI tool. We line it up here. It is our size 13. Tighten these up a bit. So if this bolt is threaded in a bit, there's a chance it won't let you bolt these up. They don't have to be tightened up to the max. Just get them in. Be able to pop it off. There we go. Now let's get it off. Our bearing sits right in here. In order to get to it, I have to remove this C-clip right here. Primary showing a little bit of grooves. Probably clean them up a little bit. Let me just release the belt. That's a non-marring tip. So while we're here, let's just go ahead and try and get that C-clip off. I'm just gonna try it with the flathead screwdriver. Poked it up a little bit, put this one in place, and just work it. So of course, right when I pumped it off, the camera fell. But I did get it off. This is the C-clamp. And I was trying to be gentle because I didn't buy a replacement. So I'll look over it, make sure it's good still to reuse. This part runs here, holds the bearing in place with some shims. So slide this one out. It's one shim, it's bearing, and another shim. So this is our bearing. For the most part, it was a pretty brand new bearing. This probably has. Actually, it's been a year since last Veterans or last New Year's. But we got since we're working on it, we got a replacement bearing, which is $78.99, and not cheap. I feel like mine still was good, but we're doing this work, might as just well go and do it the correct way. Also got some new shims. We'll be installing some new shims with it. And here it gives us enough space to kind of clean them up. So while I'm still doing this, I'll probably just clean them. Alright. So within my Amazon tool, I think it was like $30 or less. Can't remember. But it's a universal clutch tool. There we go. I like to put this to protect the clutch sheaves. Slide this one in. What I'm gonna do is double stack it here. I lost the spinning thing to make this quicker, so I've been using a bolt. Go. Popped it off. I was using a pick and a flathead. The pick is just to hold it in place because otherwise they'll want to spin. So now we slowly undo it, and it should start releasing the spring as we undo this. So before you release the whole thing, you gotta make sure that all the pressure is released, because it could be caught on something, and if it releases that pressure in your fingers and your any site where it can get crushed, that could be pretty harmful. Here's that C-clip. Luckily, they're not super hard to remove. And let me undo this. Let me take a quick look at it. So while I have it off, I'm gonna just give it a quick wipe down and probably blow it with some air. I'll be right back. So I did take it all apart. I had already aired out my clutches, but doing it this route, it gets rid of everything. And then there's still a second part where once you have it to this point, you can just pull these out, and you could either mark them if you want to know the position, but these are labeled. It's 1, 2, and 3, which these are labeled as well. You get your your 1 there with the little arrow, your 2, and your 3. So if you were to forget to label them, that's where you can find it. I'm gonna clean these out as well, and then there's some rollers here that they get pretty dirty. I'm gonna clean them as well. If you can see those there, you just want to make sure they spin, which they do. So let me get these clean. So I'm pretty much getting them all wiped down. The way I do it, spray a little bit of degreaser. If you have brake cleaner, you can spray it on a rag, and then just go over the parts. Get them nice and wiped down. And then you want to make sure that your weights move. The reason I'm doing the spring is because I got a good deal on it. A friend of mine went and bought the weights and the spring. And the way the Pdrive works is you could either do one or the other. Unless you're going full race mode, then you would do the spring and the weights. But the engagement that would put you on, I want to say, is in the 5,000 range. I want to say it's 5,000 range if you were to do the spring and the weights. So remember to only do one or the other. The spring is the cheapest option. I believe it's like $60 for that red spring. And after you clean them, just air them out again. You don't want any fluid in these sections here or in the rollers here. So these are all pretty much clean, at least better than what they were. So that's one way to inspect your clutches. Let me go air this one out and we'll reassemble. All right, so let me reassemble this part. And 3, 2, 1. We'll find our 1, which is here. And this will go here. And your weights go at an angle. That way they enter these little squares here. Or openings, square openings. And same with these rollers. One goes in, one goes out. So you see that little gap there? That should be there. So then we're gonna get our spring. Don't forget this cap. There we go. This is our OEM spring. A little dirty. And we are ready to install. Let's get this back on there. I forgot to put the C-clip in. Let's see if we can. Oh, we got it in. So this part, the camera won't capture much, but I'm just using my fingers to put it in place. It doesn't need much compression and stuff. So it's in place now. I'm just rotating it, making sure that it is completely seated, which it does seem to be. So now we'll get this compression tool off. And do a final check, make sure everything's seated right. It does seem like it did. And we successfully installed our spring. Hopefully it helps it, wakes it up a little bit more. On my older clutch, I was running a clutch kit, Evo clutch kit. I just never installed anything on this one. But it did. So we're pretty much ready to install the bearing. I give it a quick wipe down. Get one of our washers or shims. Put that there. Get our new bearing. Get our next shim slash washer. I don't know what they are. I say shims. And then if you forget how this goes, it will only reach one way. So watch, I placed it in wrong and it doesn't go in all the way. So don't be too scared about it. So now I'm pretty much gonna start placing this and then we'll be able to get it back installed. I have been looking up to see if I have to align the sheaves. I can't find anything. I went back even on my last video when I first installed it and I couldn't find anything. Feel free to put some Loctite if you like on these. I'm not doing it, but doesn't mean you should too. And then from what I remember, I wasn't able to find an actual torque spec on these screws. So you can't do it too much because it will strip that T40. And now we're ready to install. Alright, so I'm taking it back apart because I forgot to put the snap ring or C-clip. The reason I realized is because I just looked down and I saw it. It's unfortunate, but it happens. So now don't forget, throw this one on. You got your washer here, bearing, washer, and then this one. Remember, this one only goes one way. Get your C-clip. You should be able just to slide it in here. So it should go in there pretty good. I would recommend to get a new one. I didn't, unfortunately. Luckily we caught this on time, because could have been bad. But we all make mistakes. I was in a little rush, got a little distracted, but luckily we caught it and it's back in place. So let me readjust our primary and get going. Now we'll place this one back. This time everything is fine. So you start this bolt by hand. I don't recall the torque specs off the top of my head. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna put it up there kind of snug and then we'll torque at the end. Okay, and we are all set. I'll start working on my secondary, but this one I'll do off camera. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope this video helps you guys.